like to call this meeting of the Board of Education for the School District of Baraboo to order for Monday, June the 9th, 2014 with roll call. Mr. Cummings? Here. Mr. McNevin?
Here.
Mr. Meering?
Here.
Mr. Mortimer?
Here.
Ms. Riley?
Here.
Mr. Vedro is not here, and Bodak here. Continue with the pledge. Flags behind the counter. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would entertain a motion for the approval of the board minutes from May the 19th as printed.
I move to approve them.
Second.
Motion by Meering, seconded by Riley. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Brings us to correspondence. I have none, and I was not forwarded any other board correspondence. Any board members have any correspondence? Hearing none. Administrative correspondence?
I included two in the board packets. One was the Energy Educator of the Year recognition, which went to high school science teacher Karen Olson. And then I also included information on the e-cyber mission competition winners, and BNR had a nice article on it, and we'll be recognizing some of those individuals tonight. And then hot off the press, we just received a thank you from Shell Lake School District for their on-site visit here in Baraboo, and I'll just pass that around.
I'll look at it when it comes back. Any other administrative correspondence? Hearing none brings us to public viewpoints. Actually, before we get to public viewpoints, if I could have the board members note the personnel recommendations. We have one additional resignation that should have been in front of you. That was for Mr. Lotzi, and then there is a name to add with the communication, marketing, and project specialist, and that is Nicole Green. Those will come up for action later. Just wanted to point that out.
Long-term sub too.
And we also have a long-term sub, Barbara Walters, which would be at Al Bierman, grade 5. That would be under the long-term sub. So if you please add that on your agenda, I appreciate it. Is there anyone here for public viewpoints tonight? Any public viewpoints? Any public viewpoints? Hearing none, let's move on to what is always the highlight of our agenda, at least for me as a board member, and that is our student and staff recognition. And we have a number of recognitions tonight.
And I want to start by apologizing to Jake Bowl. We had him agendized as Greg Manson, so Jake, we want to make sure that you get the recognition tonight. Would you like to come up front and talk a little bit about the forensics competition?
Okay.
All right, thanks everyone. I'm Jake Bohl, and here are some members of our forensics team, Ariel Cole, and we have Chloe Zick and Anya Koroviets. It's fun to say, hard to do. And we have Cheyenne. Amy. I called Cheyenne Amy all year, so Amy would help. All right, I'm going to read you a letter that we got from the Wisconsin High School Forensics Association in the mail honoring our team. It says, "Congratulations, Baraboo High School Forensics Team. You and your forensics team have earned the prestigious Excellence in Speech Award given annually by the Wisconsin High School Forensics Association to the top 5% scoring schools competing in our speech festival at UW-Madison. HSFFA have been sponsoring speech competitions in the state of Wisconsin for 119 years. This year, 4,548 students qualified to compete at Madison, and they represented 351 school districts. Your students, our students, have compiled enough points to be recognized as an outstanding speech program in the top 5% of the state. In a few weeks, we've received a plaque. Oh, I forgot our plaque goes. Let me grab the plaque. So we're going to hang this plaque up in our forensics display case. And what it says is, Wisconsin High School Forensics Association Excellence in Speech Award to Baraboo High School 2014. So congratulations to the forensics team.
Woo.
Would any of you like to make any comments about your experience participating in the event? You don't have to. I'm not going to put you on the spot.
Well, I'd be just curious what of categories you guys spoke well.
Well, I do extemporaneous speaking and got through all the parts, so I went to state and I got a silver at state.
Great.
I started off with extemporaneous with Ariel, but I wasn't a big fan, so I moved to Farrago, which is a bunch of different types of speeches that you can give, and all on one topic.
I did a Moments in History speech, and I got a gold at state.
All right.
It was blessed.
I did play acting with one of my friends who is also a teammate. We did Who's on First, so it was pretty fun doing it.
A special note for Anya, as a freshman, when you get a gold at state, she qualifies to, if she continues to get golds at state for all 4 years, she's eligible for a very special award that is very hard to get for high school students, so no pressure. But
Well, thank you, Jake, for taking that on. I'm not going to give you the certificate that has Greg's name on it tonight, so I'll make sure I get that to you, and I'll make sure that I get some medals here to your students as well.
terrific.
Thank you very much for coming. Let's see if we have the next one right. We have Bernadette. Is she here tonight? There. And you have several students with you tonight as well?
Yep.
Okay, cool. We'll let you talk a little bit about.
So these are the boys, got James, Tyler, Benville, and Wilkinell, and they entered the National U.S. Army East Cyber Mission Science Competition, and it's administered by the NSTA, the National Science Teachers Association, and they won first prize. And they used scientific inquiry in solving a problem, and their problem was basically traffic within the halls of the middle school, and especially the ramps. And so they came up with a plan, and they took some background data to see incidents on the ramp. They put a engineered barrier, which was basically some wonderful yellow duct tape that they picked the color. They thought yellow was appropriate, and found out that it cut the incidents, what we called incidents, in half on the ramps. So people stayed on, they knew how to stay on the right side, right? So, and they won first place, so they got, they each won a $1,000 scholarship, or I should say a U.S. Treasury bond that will be used for public college. Each, and they are still in the running for the regionals and national competition. So with that, those in pretty soon, couple weeks, we should get the announcement.
That's great. Leadership and facilitating this wonderful event for them, and we have honors for excellence medallions for all of you. And I hope we can have you back after your next event.
When they get to the high school, can they fix our parking lot for us?
We have a few
That
projects.
traffic flow desperately needs management and oversight of their caliber.
Yes, right. It needs
Thank
more
you
than a
for
couple.
coming today.
Thank you very much.
Is the tape still on?
Thanks, guys.
The ramp, or the state, or is the tape still on the ramp?
No, we took it off. Two reasons. Well, the first reason is we were afraid that the stickiness was going to stick to the tape. And then what happened, I think when we ripped it off, it looked really clean for a while. There was a clean strip, and then I think it attracted a little bit more dirt as the time went on. So that strip was there for a few months, and then it finally went away. So I was worried. But yeah, actually, Mr. Gunnell was talking about maybe doing two colors, maybe one side, maybe blue, one side gold. So there's a division of it, two different types of carpeting, perhaps, something like that, to implement
Great
something.
idea.
Well, this is our last school board meeting during the school year, so what better way than to have all of the staff and students here to recognize. I'm going to let Lori take the next one for K-12 curriculum.
Sure, so we have the District Curriculum Council coming up. There's a whole bunch of them back here. They all are limited to 3 minutes each.
Right.
So on your tables, I just did include for you the District Curriculum Council, which is our new structure this year. And the council is made up of our K-12 curriculum leaders and individuals across the district that represent all the different grade levels, different content area, and building levels. And I wanted to recognize them tonight because they've taken on this new role with a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot has been accomplished this year. They have served as great liaison with the district in terms of what our needs are and what kind of information we need to talk about in terms of the big three, so the Common Core state standards, our new assessments that are coming up next year, and educator effectiveness. And I just want to thank and recognize their efforts. They've facilitated K-12 content area meetings. They were significant in bringing forward for your approval 23 new courses for next school year. They created our professional development plan collectively and collaboratively for next school year. We audited all the assessments that we do in the district and planned what we're going to do next year to absorb all the time that we're going to be doing with our assessments with students next year. And also, I think one of our biggest accomplishments was the work we did collectively reviewing the curriculum budget and looking at what our needs are and bringing forward needs from all of their peers to prioritize as a group on where we're going to spend the dollars that we have to support our curricular needs. So they have been a tremendous help, and I guess if anyone would like to make a comment or two. Barry was going to lead the speech, but he's not here tonight, so. Any? Brian will speak. I can look at Brian and Brian will speak, so.
We all had different sizes of groups. Some of our groups were rather small, some were rather big, depending on what content area we were dealing with. But collaboratively overall, I think each of us feel like we were able to add something to whatever content area we were dealing with, along with developing teacher leaders within the district and having a resource to go to per content area, and then bringing that information back to whoever needed it. And also, I think it was really interesting to work on the professional development plan, because I think it changed about 4 or 5 times through that process, and what we feel would be best for our teachers moving forward as we start the next year, along with our discussions around the new course proposals and the assessment.
And I think for the first time, a lot of us had kind of inside information on what you guys all go through when you're looking at a budget, the decisions that need to be made and why decisions are made. And so I think from that standpoint, it was very insightful. A lot of work. It resulted in my retirement.
No room in the interceding.
So I just want to again thank them, and we've gone so far this year, and this is just the start. We have more years to come, but this is a group that demonstrates teacher leadership and building capacity across the district.
Thank you so much.
Up next under personnel, approval of resignations. We can take them individually, or we can take them as a slate, keeping in mind the 4th that was added.
I move to approve the slate of resignation.
I'll second that.
Motion by Meering, seconded by Riley. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Brings us to the approval of new hires. First is the middle school special education PD, Stephanie Abel. Entertain a motion for that.
I move to approve Stephanie.
Second.
Motion by Meering, seconded by McNevin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Middle school education LD/CD, Donna Baker.
I move to approve Donna Baker.
Second.
Motion by Meering, seconded by Riley. Any discussion? Discussion on that hire? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. And even though on your agenda it's labeled as 2, it's really 3. That's the communications, marketing, and project specialist. The name that has been added, and you were given background on the recommendation, that is for Nicole Green. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
And she is here tonight too, by the way.
Can she wait?
Wow.
She's a communication specialist.
That was the first test.
All right, because she can wave, I will move to approve.
I can do both hands.
Wow.
I'll second that.
We have high standards, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Motion by Meering, seconded by Riley. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Note Mr. Mortimer's opposition. Congratulations, Nicole.
Thank you.
Welcome to the district. Approval of the long-term substitute Barbara Walters, which again is at L7 for grade 5. Entertain a motion to that effect?
I move to approve.
Give me a second. Okay, I'll be here all night.
I'll second.
Can we get a little background on that one?
Yeah, I didn't have any background, that's the
We typically don't provide background.
I'm just
for
thinking long-term sub position that lasts 3 days.
It's for, no, it's for Nick's wife, lovely wife, Carl's.
Going into next year then. Okay.
Start of next year, yeah.
Any further questions, discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. I'm not aware of, we have the additional compensation for summer school
Yes.
teachers.
Same rate.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by McNevin, seconded by Mortimer. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Brings us to new business, and for the approval of disbursements, I will turn to Chair of Finance, Mr. McNevin.
I believe everybody got a copy sent out to them and in their mailbox. I move to approve.
I will second that.
Motion by McNevin, seconded by Cummings. Any discussion?
I guess I would just point out there are some referendum expenditures starting to come through, and once we get the proceeds, we will be refunding the general fund for those dollars. So.
Martha, I got a quick question on the second page of your disbursements there. There's a large one, I think about the second one down. I forget what it seems.
Do you know which check register? There were 3 of them.
I can't find, Mike's got my computer.
Or do you know which vendor? Second one down.
Page 2.
Okay.
I think it's around 45,000.
For
Seems-
EUA probably. Hold on, I just want to check.
I can talk to you afterward, just see
Okay.
if I can fit.
There was one for about 41,000 for EUA, and that's referendum dollars that will reimburse general fund with. So,
So does that mean we're doing work?
well, we're starting the planning and the design and everything. So, yeah.
Okay. Brings us to B, which is the adoption of a resolution awarding the sale of $9.95 million general obligation school improvement bonds. We have with us tonight Mr. Mike Clark from Baird, so I'm not sure if the board wants background first, or if you want to make a motion first.
Background first would be great.
Good evening. At your chairs, you'll have placed a handout. This is for the financing, so you can stop paying bills out of general fund, start paying out of the construction fund. Financing for the referendum. We took bids this morning. If you open up to page 2, you received 5 bids on the issue. Janie Montgomery Scott was the winning bidder at 3.1305%. And then Bosk was a close cover at 3.1756. So I'm very happy with the number of bids. We've been seeing 5 to 8 bids typically in the last few months. The supply for municipal bonds has been very light, although it has picked up a lot the last couple of weeks because of the low rates. A lot of refinancing is coming to the market.
but we're very happy with that. You open up to page 3, description of, these are general obligation school improvement bonds. The amount, the 9.95, which is approved by the voters. Dated date, settlement date, July 1, 2014. Maturities, you'll begin paying principal as soon next April. So your 14-15 fiscal year will be the first year you're levying for the debt. First interest payment the same. Callable, we have a 10-year call, April 1, 2024. Moody's affirmed the district's AA3 rating, which was good. I will make a couple of comments to that in just a minute. The final interest rate ended up being 3.1064%, a little bit lower than what was bid, because what we did is keep payments level. We moved some principal up, shortening the average life of the debt. So you're paying principal back more quickly than what we bid it out as, because you always have to make some assumption on the structure on the interest rates, because part of the equation is unknown. So actually the interest rate ended up being a little bit different. And for comparison to the referendum, we were using 4.5%, but back when we established that last fall, rates were on the rise, and rates have actually come down since the referendum. So it probably approximately $1.5 million less in interest costs than was projected at the time of the referendum. So that's very good news.
For the dated and settlement date, is there any way I can get that to June 27th?
Yeah, we'll have to work on
Okay.
that, but I think that will be the date.
Okay.
And there was a reason for that.
You might have mentioned it, but what was the rate that we estimated when we did the referendum?
4.5%.
4.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, at the time, rates were running above this, and given
Running up
the
at that
months,
point.
correct, because
Yeah.
the
Trend line.
government was stopping the bond buying program, the economy was picking up,
Sure.
all those types of things, and so we wanted to be conservative, because if rates would have moved up as much as they moved down from the time we did that, we would have been not too far from that. So
Do we have that figure of the difference between the
yeah,
referendum?
I can get you the exact figure, but
And I think that would be good to get to the paper.
it's roughly about $1.5 million.
Yeah, that's a significant number, but we should get pretty close.
But very good result.
Yeah.
And 3.1+% versus the 4.5. Even on 1% with an average life of about 12 years, it's about $1.1 million.
Yeah.
And that's just at 1%, and then you have that additional amount. So
it's huge.
Very good result. And again, part of it's due to maintaining the credit rating. The bond supply is picking up, but still lower than typical. The stock market being at high, people are looking for alternatives. A lot of foreign buying into U.S. fixed income. So a lot of things factoring into the bond buying program going away, kind of turning out to be not that big of an issue. Just because other buyers have moved into the marketplace to fill that void. So
I was just going to comment on the fund balance and the direction that we need to move.
That was the note I was going to make, that Moody's did affirm the district's AA3 rating, which is great. And being in the AA category brings a whole different group of buyers who only buy AA or above. Especially after 2008, that group has gotten larger. So being able to stay in that AA without having to go buy bond insurance, which is becoming a bigger player again in the marketplace. There's a couple bond insurers that have been accepted in the marketplace. But the use of fund balance did raise a concern with Moody's. They understood the expenditure for the wall. They were a little bit more concerned about the expenditures related to more operational type expenditures and the draw of fund balance. So the rating was looked at very closely. There was a lot of discussion. So I think if you see a continuation of draw on fund balance, that the rating could be at risk. So with that said, other than that, they talk very highly of the district in terms of what's going on, your low debt level compared to others, your And even with the non-referendum issue and this issue, your debt level is fairly low, especially when you look at your valuation. So those are good. You still have a okay fund balance, but what they look at is trends, which puts districts in a difficult spot. I was on a rating call with Nicolay, which is one of the AAA, and they've drawn their fund balance down for 2 years, but they're still at 30%. But Moody's was saying, well, boy, this, it's concerning. Well, we're still at 30%, but it was planned. It was a planned fund balance. So their new methodology puts greater emphasis on trends and not necessarily where you started from. So just that word of caution that as you move forward, that the rating, could be at risk if there's a continued draw in the fund balance. Not to say that there's not reasons to use it, but there are consequences to that. So the next page just shows your payments. The tick being 3.11, we round up. That's actually the 3 point was approved, and an average impact of 40 cents. And again, I think it was 46 cents during the referendum.
Yep.
So
I'll move to approve.
Very good result.
Second that. Motion by McNevin, seconded by Cummings to approve. Is there a resolution number that needs to be added to that resolution? Or is that not necessary?
Do you typically?
No.
No.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
One other note, and we'll be in communication with the district, obviously for the closing, which will be July 1st at this point. But also, we did this issue as bank qualified to get the best interest rate. So we'll require, I think we talked about this, the district doing its cash flow on a taxable basis next fall, and we'll be the difference between the tax exempt and the taxable and the cash flow is very small, and we wanted to get the best bang on the long term, something that's going to be sitting out there for 20 years. So, but we'll be in touch, work with the district to work through that, and it's quite a common practice. And, I saw Prairie's approving something on a bank qualified, and they'll be doing their cash flow on a taxable basis. So. Which does have a small cost, but again, the benefit to having it on the lowest rates on the long-term rate more than offset that. We would estimate the difference between the bank qualified versus non-bank qualified issue, in your case, being somewhere about $400,000 of interest cost versus maybe a few $100,000 on your cash flow borrowing. So, and you work with a bank, typically, I know, so.
This year we went up.
Yeah, you did.
Took US funds,
Okay.
so yeah.
But again, actually that taxable municipal is very desirable in the marketplace because there's not a lot of it. So we'll be back in touch with the district on that.
So is this all large bills? Because we don't have a loading dock to unload.
No, it's a check.
Oh.
Those big ones
Thought
that
it'd be more
give
fun.
away at the golf. Golf.
Yeah, well, there you go.
The
Those
winners.
great big, yeah.
Put them
So,
in pennies.
I don't know if you can get those on your iPhone and just email those in. But by the way,
Thanks, Mike.
thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda, and I don't know if Finance wants to intro this. This is the resolution in regards to the Wisconsin Investment Services Cooperative, or WISC. Mr. McNevin?
Martha did a really nice job explaining it in the email. This is essentially another depository that needs to be approved by the full board because we're going to have someone manage these dollars to make sure that they are accessible, that they are safe, and that their funds are guaranteed. So because of that, one of the things that they do use is the Wisconsin Investment Series Cooperative, and the Finance Committee approved this to bring to the board. So I so move to approve.
I will second.
Motion by McNevin, seconded by Cummings to approve the resolution to participate in the fund. Everybody had this in their board packet. I don't find a necessity to read it. It's too nice of it. It's too long and it's too nice.
We already moved and seconded, so.
Very good then.
We're moving on.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Yeah, you're not reading every word.
It's like he's got nowhere
Brings
to
us
go.
to the approval of the Topographic Mapping and Survey Services contract. This comes from the earlier this evening Building Grounds and Transportation Committee meeting. Mr. Cummings?
The BG&T met previously for the Topographic Certified Survey and what was the other one, Martha? The portion of it?
Civil engineering.
Civil engineering for the project. The low bid was by point at the beginning, and for that amount was, what do we got here?
In total, it was
59,500.
59,500.
59,500
for both of them.
And I will make the motion to approve from the beginning for these services.
And just one clarification, the district only will contract for the survey. EUA will contract for the civil engineering piece of it.
This is for the referendum projects? Is
Yes.
that what we're doing the survey
Mhm.
for? Okay.
Has it been seconded?
I'll second it. Any further discussion? Or any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Brings us then to the approval of the paper bid. This also is coming through Buildings, Grounds, and Transportation. Mr. Cummings?
Martha, I do not have that bid here in front of me. Do you have it?
Yeah, we sent it out to 5 and O'Brien came back the lowest again with $26.50 per case, which is the same price they gave us this year. We are, because this came up last year with paper usage, we are making efforts to try and reduce paper usage. In fact, the first numbers that we got from the principals, we've cut them by 10%. So, and we've got some new software on our copiers that we're testing out in the administration building, and they will come out after I leave, but hopefully all the kinks will be worked out. But it does help people think about what they're printing and if they really need to print it or need to print it in color. So I just wanted to say that we are working towards what was discussed last year at the Finance Committee meeting and reducing paper. So.
That being said, I will make the motion to accept the bid from O'Brien's for next year's paper bid.
Second.
Any discussion? Having a motion by Mr. Cummings, seconded by Mr. Mortimer. Hearing no discussion, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Paper bid is awarded to O'Brien. And that brings us to number 2, which is the fascia painting bid for the East Elementary School. That also came out of Buildings, Grounds, and Transportation earlier.
This is also on a list of projects at East. Includes the removing of the paint and stabilizing it and repainting. The portion that's not going to be in part of the major construction next summer, we're trying to get part of it done this year. So that was $5.
$5?
Yep.
I'll move to
Close.
approve.
5 different people were invited to bid. We got actually basically one. It was Smelzer. I got the right one, didn't I?
Yep.
I got sort of a mess over here. And at a cost of
Should be right on that same piece of paper. $110,086.
Yeah, $110,086.
And this will be from non-referendum money.
This has been our list for
Paint the fascia?
It's all the
remediation.
abatement involved with it.
What do we have in our 5-year plan for that? I mean,
We had $75,000 in that for that project. Our roof numbers came in really low.
You got lead paint chips falling onto the ground.
Can we
In the playground.
remove it
My hair.
and replace it with something different instead of repaint it?
actually, what they do is they put on a chemical that binds and renders the lead neutral, and then they remove it.
MSA was involved in this.
Yeah, it's quite a complicated thing. There's only about 2 or 3 ways to do it. One is almost you have to cover the whole area and seal it, and then
This is the middle school?
East School.
East School.
So we had 75,000.
There's no way to get rid of it?
And what it's costing under?
I mean,
Under
there's no way to
the
remove that.
10.5 million.
That's come off,
Our
has to go
roof
through
bids
that
came in
system.
much lower than anticipated, so there's not a problem getting it in the $2.5 million.
And apparently the companies are the ones that Al had talked to. Only one given the bid there, the rest of them were pretty well booked for the summer, so. And this has been on our plan for quite some time. Take care, not quite some time, but.
Okay, having a motion, was there a second? Motion by Mr. Cummings, seconded by Mr. Mortimer to award the fascia painting project for East School to Smelzer Painting out of Madison. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Brings us to the mansard replacement bid for GLW, which is a fancy word for an overhang above the windows. It's not touching the floor, not touching the ground, and it doesn't come from the roof.
It's made of wood.
And it's made of wood.
Man's hard.
Also out of BG&T earlier tonight, Mr. Cummings.
Once again, there was four bids, or people sent bids, 3 of them returned them. Low bid was Zander Installation Company out of Verona, Wisconsin, with a low bid of $134,685.
Anybody do anything for less than 6 figures around this place?
You and
Holy
me.
smokes! Yeah.
Yeah, but you're sniffing in all his lead fumes, so that's one reason why.
For that, I will make the recommendation and the recommendation and the what's called to accept the 134,000 bid from Zander Installation and Company.
Now that one we did have for 140,000 in our project list, so it came in where we expected it to.
Motion by Mr. Cummings, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Mortimer. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Item 4, under the approval of bids, I would entertain a motion to table that.
I will so move.
I'll second the table.
Motion by Cummings, seconded by Meaden. Those in favor of table, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Those
So
in
moved.
favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Martha, I think our cable supply went back the other way.
Yeah.